My name is Tamika Small, and I am the Workforce Development Consultant at Tourism Saskatchewan. And welcome again to our webinar series. Now, as you know, that social media is where your customers are spending a lot of their free time, and they are just waiting to discover your business on social. Now, during this 1-hour webinar, you will learn how to set goals for your brand, determine your target audience personas, learn about the value of digital marketing versus traditional marketing, also learning how to create a strategy based on your goals and audiences. And you will also learn how to easily execute your strategy in your busy day. Now, to take us through this all, we have our host or our facilitator this evening, and her name is Ashley Drummond. Now, just to tell you a bit about Ashley, is that Ashley is the CEO of Saskatchewan's leading social media marketing company, Wow Factor Media. Her team of digital marketing experts have proudly mentored and partnered with hundreds of Canadian companies to help them execute social media marketing that earns brand strength and new customers. And so we're happy to have Ashley to walk us through the topic, traditional marketing and the growth of digital. So Ashley, it's over to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tamika. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here and then we can get started. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't see your screen, Ashley.
Let me try that again.
Hold on, Ashley.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it. So maybe.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, try that again. There we go.
Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you for your patience, everybody, as we got that figured out. I'm just going to hit present here. It's being slow tonight. One moment, please. Sorry. Maybe it'll like me better.
I think it's just the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you able to see my full screen, or do you see the little tiles on the bottom?
Yes, that's what we're seeing. I think it's still waiting.
Okay. I mean, you can still see the slide, right?
Yes.
Or is it hard to see?
It would be better on the full screen.
Yeah, okay, let me see here. It's funny because I never had this problem last time. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We're good.
No worries.
Oh, I'm always so nervous when I do these things that something's going to go wrong, and that today's one of those days. So, but we're back in business. So thanks for your patience, everybody. And thank you for having me to Tourism Saskatchewan and Tamika. This webinar is called Digital Marketing Training, developed specifically for Tourism Saskatchewan, presented by Wow Factor Media. And just so you guys know, there are worksheets for this training. It's meant to be super easy to digest and super step-by-step. So everything you learn here, you can take the worksheet and apply it to your own business when you get around to it, or later tonight or throughout the week. If you don't have the worksheet, I think Denise was going to distribute those, so please ask for it. And then don't worry about scrambling to take notes while we're training here. Just please like enjoy it, absorb it, ask your questions in the chat, and then it's going to be recorded. So you can always go back later and go through the steps if you're interested. All right, so a little bit about Wow Factor Media for those of you who might not have heard of us. We basically help businesses develop with strategic online marketing. A little bit more about us. We're a Saskatchewan owned and operated woman-led family business with about 21 team members working throughout Saskatchewan. So we have people all over the map, and at the end of the day, we make it our mission to help organizations, big, small, mom and pop, startup, industry leaders in their space excel with online marketing. Our key services are social media marketing. So we, our biggest department is we take on the entire social media plan and marketing for our clients. So for businesses and organizations, we go to town, we take it over, and we do it for them. We also do social media marketing training. We have an awesome training course, 2 awesome training courses right now that are fully funded through the RSTS Government of Saskatchewan grant. If anyone's interested in that, we do web design creation and graphic design. And a little bit about me. I just realized I have the exact same shirt on, so now you guys know my favorite shirt. I've trained hundreds of people throughout Western Canada. I love training. I love mentoring. I've probably created award-winning social media marketing campaigns, and I've helped hundreds of businesses achieve success with strategic online marketing. So thanks again for having me. All right, so what we're going to cover today, marketing in 2023, traditional versus digital, goal identification, how to set those goals for yourself, audience identification, how to set your audience, customer persona identification. So really getting to know your audience on a deeper level, creating simple step-by-step digital marketing strategy based on your goals and audience, and implementing your plan. And then we're going to go through a bonus section on social content hot tips for 2023. All right, so first, marketing in 2023, what's going on out there? So let's first unpack traditional marketing. So we've got our newspapers, our radio ads, our posters, our print. And I don't love traditional marketing because I just know how much more effective digital marketing is. And for a few other reasons, it can be costly. It's not measurable. So it just goes out there. You don't ever know if anybody saw it or if they ever acted or engaged. It's interruptive. It becomes part of people's lives. You're listening on the radio and you get an ad when you didn't want it. It's not instantly actionable. So whereas social media marketing and digital marketing, we can ask people to pick up the phone and they just hit it on their cell phone or visit our website, and they can just go straight to our website, or they can send us a DM. Traditional marketing, they have to remember to do that. They've got to remember a URL. They've got to remember our phone number. So it's a pain there. And then your relationship ends there. You don't get to capture their footprint. You don't get to remarket them. You don't get to talk back. It's just a one-way conversation. But that being said, traditional marketing does have its role. I mean, if you have a really large marketing budget, it doesn't hurt to include radio, I guess, in your marketing mix. But most of the businesses I deal with are small and medium enterprises. They have a limited budget and they need to spend it in the most efficient and effective way possible. So that's why digital marketing is the best, because it's efficient. You can get to the right people at the right time at a relatively lower cost. It's measurable. So not only can you reach the right people, you can actually look at your data and your analytics and make sure that you've reached them, and also that you can see what they've did as a result of seeing your content or ads. It's targeted, so you can get in front of the exact people that you want to. From a demographic and psychographic standpoint, it's actionable. Like I mentioned, they can DM you, they can email you, they can phone you, they can send you a quick comment on your posts. It's I'm just moving my tile here. It's agile. So what that means is, imagine you paid $5,000 for a billboard and then something changed in your business. You sold out of a certain tourist attraction, or you needed to change things up because the ad just wasn't quite right. You can't do that with as easily with traditional advertising as you can on social media marketing. You can change it basically instantly. Next, global reach. And this is so important for the tourism industry because for most of you, the world can be your client. And so you can reach people basically at no cost as long as you're doing it right on a global level, versus to try to do that on traditional, you'll be spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. You can do, it's got customer service. So one of the biggest trends in 2022, and actually since the pandemic, customer service has become a huge thing for brands online in a way where customers, their habits have changed. They're reaching out to us on our social media for customer service, and we can provide that on social. And it builds that relationships, builds brand loyalty. It's also searchable. So in addition to them being able to for you to seek out customers and get in front of them, they can find you. And it's actually trending towards more and more people are moving away from Google and moving towards Instagram and social to search for experiences like a tourist attraction. Active leads, so somebody reaches out or comments, you have that two-way conversation versus just the message shopping with traditional. And then it's algorithm based. So what that means is every action we take on our social media, the algorithms are watching us, they're recording us, they're trying to figure out the best possible experience for us on social. So when we like something or act on something, or we're actively looking for a tourist attraction, the algorithms are saying, okay, I'm going to show them more of this content because they know that'll enhance our experience and what we're after. And so you're getting the smart technology working for your brand. All right, so digital marketing, the four things that it kind of encompasses on a high level is your website, the internet, email campaigns, and social media. So that's basically digital marketing in a nutshell. And when your budget is limited, we need to focus on efficiency. And digital marketing is generally more cost effective and more targeted and efficient than traditional. So don't get me wrong, traditional has its place. Big brands, big budgets, it is effective. But here, when we're trying to reach more people, be more efficient, have more measurability and conversions, it's the best possible place to spend your energy. So if I didn't say it enough, social media marketing is essential for brands, and it's absolutely amazing. I've seen brands, I mean, we've helped brands achieve so much success on it, and basically develop and grow their businesses through social media marketing efforts alone, completely taking away any budget towards traditional. And it's this says the most efficient form of marketing in the world. And that's not my opinion, that's based on the data. So let's talk about some consumer behavioral stats. So it's all about the audiences on social media. Forget what your brand can do. You have to cater to these audiences. Who are these people who are spending more time on social media than they are sleeping? Here's some behavior stats about them. About us, I guess, because we're all probably in that crew. So social media users have grown by 13% over the last year. And this is a big number considering it was at an all-time high when the pandemic broke out. And what's happening is it's just growing and growing and growing. It's grown by 1 billion. The users have grown by 1 billion over the last 3 years. 57% of consumers, so over half, will follow a brand to learn more about your products and services. So they're not just going for entertainment, they want to know what they should buy. The average user spends nearly 7 hours per day on the internet. 7 hours per day on the internet. Think about how much time that is. And so just to put that into perspective, we spend almost as much time online as we do sleeping. It's where we are spending our time. 81.5% of internet users searched online for a product or service. Okay, and here's some Canadian stats. 42% of people in Canada use social to search for products, and 92% of social media users say they've acted in the moment after seeing a product on social. So almost all of us have acted in the moment. So made a purchase, visited the store, booked a hotel stay. Almost all of us, just from seeing social, have acted in the moment. And this isn't surprising really nowadays. I mean, you're probably all thinking of your own habits and how you've done this recently. So super, super important to include social media marketing as part of your business strategy. So when we first started doing social media marketing for brands, it was like one of those things. It was more like it was like an innovative way to reach more, and it was kind of maybe considered like a luxury, because you could take it or leave it. You could still get by without it back in the day. We're talking like, I don't know, 10 years ago. Now, all of our clients consider it a key piece of their overall business strategy because it helps them facilitate brand strength, brand recognition, customer loyalty, bottom line growth, all the things that businesses need to survive. And so what we're going to go through next is the steps on how to easily integrate social media into your business strategy in the most effective way possible. And it sounds maybe like a lot, but it's purposefully broken down to feel easy in steps. So the first one we're going to go through is goals identification. Okay, so why do you need a goal? In 2023, social should be treated as a core function of any organization, part of your business strategy. Gone are the days of treating it as an afterthought or a place to only post promotional messages. When we have goals, we can easily create a strategy that has a focus. So again, it's about being focused and just staying in your lane and making sure you know what you're doing every time you go on social. So your goal for digital marketing should have two key pieces. You got to think about these two things. And once you know what those are, you've got a great goal. Number one, what do you want people to do as a result of seeing your digital advertising or social media content? So how do you want them to act? Do you want them to book a stay? Do you want them to learn more? Do you want them to follow you? Do you want them to become a customer? What's your number one goal there? And you might be thinking, well, I want all those things. Don't think, and I know we all want those things, but the more specific you are, and the more the number one thing that you prioritize, the better off your marketing will be. So make sure that you have one priority of what you want people to do as a result of seeing your social media content. And then number two, how do you want people to feel about your brand, products, and services as a result of seeing your digital advertising or social media content? So two things. What do you want them to do? How do you want them to feel? Keep it that simple and keep it super specific. All right. So what do you want your customers and digital marketing audiences to do as a result of following you or seeing your digital ads or social media content? So here's some examples, just to get the wheels turning, that might be pertinent to your brand or business. So some examples are purchase a specific product. And again, be specific. Don't say purchase all products if there's one product that you need to sell more of, or it makes you more money. Number two, follow your brand is a good example. Visit your website to learn more. Come into your store if you've got a brick and mortar place. Using your platforms for customer service. So if you want them to be able to reach out and talk back and forth with your customers, or simply booking a tourism activity. So those are some good examples. That's not all of them, but a way to kind of give you a head start. And then next is how you want people to feel about your brand. So here's some examples. And this is usually a reflection of like the owner of your brand or like the person behind your brand. It's usually like something that's already ingrained in you, but something to think about and put down on paper. Some examples are trustworthy, great customer service, friendly and open, innovative, and or experts in your field. And the list goes on. Just think about how you want them to feel when they see your content. So the combination of what you want them to do and feel as a result of engaging with your digital marketing is your goal. So your goal should be your North Star for all your digital ads and content marketing. Okay, so one of the number one things when people come and work with Wow Factor, when brands come to us and say, just please take this over, it's just because like a lot of the times they're overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. They've got a million hats to wear and 10 cooks in the kitchen, and the list goes on. And it gets confusing and overwhelming. So I'm here to tell you, if you're ever confused or overwhelmed, the easiest way is to step back and set that goal and use that as your North Star. And I'm not saying that like you have to be married to that goal from now until the end of time. But if you give yourself a good goal with a good timeline, especially being in the tourism industry when things are very seasonal, you only got a few, like a window to sell product X for a tourist attraction for the most part. this is like a great way to set a goal for a time bound amount of time. And then you just, what happens is like all that anxiety about like, where do I start? Where do I go? Goes away, and you can think clearly about how you're going to do your social media marketing for your brand. So consider it your North Star in everything you do. Next, I just want to drive home that your goal should be as specific as possible, and that way you can focus on it and measure it. So try not to have several. It takes away from focusing on one or two really important things. So I like every time we meet with a new client who we're going to be doing social media marketing for, we ask them like, what do you want out of this? What is your goal? And then we give them examples similar to how I gave you, and they instantly, everybody 100% of the time says, I want all of that. And you'll get all of that, but it's when you start your marketing efforts, again, you have to focus on one, maybe two, I mean, in special cases, but one laser focused thing so that you can really achieve it. If you water yourself down too much, or you try to be everything to everybody, you won't succeed. So that's your goal. So really easy. You guys have a worksheet that you can go back to later. What you want people to do, what you want them to feel, write it down, because then you won't forget it and you'll be able to use it as your North Star. Next thing we're going to go through is your audience identification. So establishing a target audience helps you create better marketing and social content. In 2023, the power is all in our audience's hands. So we need to create ads and content that suits them. Every brand is tailoring their messaging to the exact target audience that they've identified. And so what's happened is customers are getting used to that. They don't want they don't even pay attention to or want marketing that's irrelevant to them and their target audience demographics and psychographics, their habits. So we have to get to know these people and create our content for them so that it's appealing and influential. So we all know kind of what a target audience is, but I'll just drive it home again just before we go into the next section. So all it is a particular group at which a product, service, and advertising campaign is aimed. So who we want to see our social media content or our ads. When we know who that is, we're better able to understand our audiences and how they affect buyer behaviors. And we're just able to create better, more effective, more influential marketing and content. So to establish our target audience, we need to determine their demographics and psychographics. So demographics, we've all heard this word, but I'll just tell you guys what it is and give you some examples. So when you go through your worksheets, you've got some. So demographics are statistical data. So they're directly measurable. So it's anything from age, gender, education, geo area, race, marital status, number of children, occupation, the things that you can't argue and the things that you can measure. Psychographics, on the other hand, they go beyond classifying people in general measurable data, such as age, gender, or race. These are things that are more qualitative. They're used to describe traits of humans on psychological attributes such as personality, values, opinions, attitudes, interests, and lifestyles. And examples of that are like social status, your daily activities, your habits on social media, your food habits, opinions on certain subjects, favorite stores, preferred ways to shop, hobbies, all the cool things that make us unique. And I find that nowadays psychographics are more valuable because directly measurable, just like there's no such thing as like ageism anymore, for example, where like a 6-year-old can't have the same hobbies as like a 30-year-old. Like things are changing drastically where like the world is a different place. So psychographics to me are more valuable when determining your audience. So what they do is those two things combine to create our target audience. So when you think about identifying your target audience, consider the product or service you're selling first. Okay, so this is important if you guys have, if any of you have several products or services in your mix, what's typical is that if you do, the target audience might be different from product to service, from product to product, etc. So it can get really confusing if you're new to establishing your target audience, to be like, well, this product is this target audience and this is that, and they're all different and I don't know where to start. So just similar to your goal and being super specific, consider the top product or service you want to sell or that you want people to know about. Just only think of that one, because your audiences could be different. And then write down your demographics and your psychographics for that one priority product or service. And I mentioned this in the last slide, but just like your goal, your audiences should be as specific as possible. Never say everyone could be my customer. It's much more effective to focus our time and effort on a specific target audience. All right, so we've established our goal. We have determined our what product or service we want to focus on and who that target audience is and what their demographics and psychographics are. Now it's time to build customer personas. So why is creating customer personas so important in today's marketing landscape? Here's a few reasons. So reason number one, establishing personas help you get to know your audience so you can put yourself in their shoes when you go to create your marketing. So it's so much easier, right? Like if we're like, okay, we can picture Bill from Assiniboia who has 2 kids at home when we go to create marketing that we want to appeal to him. The other thing is too, is like, as marketers, we're human. And so we have tendencies to create marketing that we think is awesome because it appeals to who we are as individuals and our demographics and psychographics. But that may be so far from our target audience and never appeal to them. So it's a great exercise to step back and just put yourself in your customer's shoes. Reason number 2 is your marketing will be more relevant and in turn be more influential and attractive. So it's all about relevancy for online audiences. They want to see things that appeal to them. And so this way we can create marketing that's for them. Reason number 3, it'll be easier for you to keep your messaging organized and consistent when you do the work of establishing them up front. So when you have your personas of who your target audience is, you know now when you go to create your marketing who you're talking to, and it just makes everything more enjoyable and easier for you and more effective. When you better understand who your customers are, you can sell the benefits of your products and services in ways that matter most to them. So that's what it all boils down to. The deeper we know what our customers want, the better we can sell to them because we'll talk to them in ways that matter most. All right. So customer persona creation. This is a exercise, I guess, that you guys can all do when you get to step 3, creating your personas, and it's broken down into 3 columns. So it sounds hard, but it really isn't. We've got our demographics, our psychographics. So we're gonna think of 3 personas. Okay, so remember it's one product or service that we're thinking of, and we're going to write down 3 personas for that product or service that include the demographics, the psychographics, and then a story. And essentially that Amanda Kelly, gardener extraordinaire, is our persona. It's a fake person or an avatar that we've told a story about that includes like the demographics and psychographics of our target audience, but it just kind of puts like a more personality, kind of a name to the demographics and psychographics and just lets us picture a person. And then you can just create the story similar to this one. So this is Amanda Kelly. She's a gardener extraordinaire. She's age 40 from Edmonton, Alberta. Amanda loves spending time with her cats, reading and working in her garden. To Amanda, there's nothing better than unwinding after a long day in her garden. Amanda is an animal lover, enjoys volunteering at her local animal shelter in her free time. She's always looking for new ways she can support her community. Amanda uses Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to keep up to date with what's going on in the world. So when you're creating this, a lot of times, because you guys know a lot about your customers already, right? Like you're probably already thinking like, oh, my ideal customer is Sherry from Swift Current or whatever it is. That's a good place to start for like building your persona. And even if you're building it around like an existing ideal customer, that's great. Go ahead and do that. But it just helps you personify who you're putting your marketing in front of. All right. So we've established our goal. We have determined our demographics and psychographics. From there, what we've done is we've created our customer personas. Now we've set a really strong base for creating a social media marketing strategy that's based on your goals and audience. So The big thing to remember here is to keep it simple. Simple and direct marketing is the most effective for small businesses. We don't have the luxury to be like Nike and just have like this arbitrary like slogan, like just do it, where like everybody knows what that means because we've seen billions of dollars worth of ads with Nike portraying what just do it means. We don't have that luxury to have those weird taglines that nobody ever understands. So just don't be afraid to, you have to be direct in today's digital landscape. You're competing with lots of content. People want to know exactly what you're saying. They ask for the business. Don't be afraid, but we're going to unpack that in 5 easy steps. All right. So keeping it simple and direct, key things to remember here. So number 1, write down the product or service you want to breed awareness for. So we talked about this already, especially when you were establishing your customer personas. You want to write down that product or service that's your top priority at this moment. Remember, you're not married to it forever, but right now, what do you want to focus on? Number 2, write down what you want people to do and feel as a result of seeing your marketing about this product or service. So do and feel are equally as important. So do you want them to buy it? Do you want them to book it? Do you just want them to know more about it? And then how do you want them to feel about it? Do you want them to feel like they just love your brand and it's like this happy family business? Or do you want them to feel like they deserve it because it's maybe like an experience? Do you want them to feel happy that it's something that they could do with their lives? Like that kind of thing is really important because it sets you apart from everybody else who's competing for your business, their business. And number 3, you want to create your customer personas and write down the ones you want to target for this product or service. And then 4, you want to determine the social platforms you want to focus on. So number 4, talking about determining the social platforms we want to focus on. Which ones? We get asked this all the time. And the thing is, like, there are 6 now key social media platforms. And I would say that I always say that you just need to find your hero platform. I'm not saying that you don't need to cross post on like the big ones, but you don't need to like be excellent on Twitter and excellent on Instagram and really great on Snapchat when most of your audience is living on Instagram. So what you need to do is find your hero platform and put most of your efforts into that platform, because that's what's going to be most efficient for you and pay off the best. So here's a rundown on each one, and like maybe you can determine for yourself. So number 1, you guys will see the big stars beside Instagram and Facebook for your industry. 99.9% of the time, either Instagram or Facebook will be your number 1 platform where you're going to reach your most of your customers. And usually it's Facebook, especially if your audience is in the 30+ range, which most people with disposable income, they're in that 30+ range. But I only say that Instagram could be a very close second or maybe lead as first for a tourism brand because of the visuals. So Instagram is all about visuals. So if you have something really beautiful, like an awesome tourist attraction or like, I don't know, something in the wilderness, then Instagram could be number 1 for you. But just to keep it super simple here, you're going to want to either focus number 1 on Facebook or number 1 in Instagram, but you're always going to want to have both as a tourism brand. And then like, as far as the other one goes, like Twitter's not too huge in Saskatchewan, but it's great for agricultural audiences. So if anyone's in that niche, it's definitely something to focus on. TikTok is a big maybe. It's something that you have to think of completely different. So never use it as like your number 1 platform, but say you're like, okay, Facebook's my number 1 platform. Now I want to think about TikTok. You're going to notice that it's a completely different strategy. So definitely a way to breed awareness for your brand, not necessarily a place where you're going to get a lot of conversions right now. And then Snapchat, I don't recommend that anyone in this space would put all their effort onto that, or Pinterest. So again, it's Facebook and Instagram. And this is not my opinion. This is based on the data. And if you look over here, it's because people follow or research brands or products on both of these platforms. Plus, they're the most popular. Plus, their algorithms are the best for reaching people based on what they're looking up. All right. And then the fifth step is, so we went through 1 to 4. The fifth step is creating content based on your goal for your target audience on the right platforms. So just to go over it again, we determined our goal. We determined our demographics and psychographics. We determined our customer personas. We then determined which platform we are going to put most of our energy in. It's either going to be Facebook or Instagram. And then number 5, now it's time to go create content based on our goal, our target audience, and the right platforms. All right, so let's talk about social content hot tips for 23. So you guys are probably already creating content for social, and you're probably, I don't know, there's probably a scale of like somebody who's really invested in it and really puts a lot of stuff out there that's really appealing. And then maybe somebody's dabbling in it because they just don't have time for it, or maybe someone is really good at graphic design, or maybe someone's really good at photography. So everyone's all over the map. They don't really, nobody's the same here. But remember what we talked about and what we said, that the power is all in our audience's hands. So no matter where we are and what we want to do on social, it's always a good idea to follow what audiences want for maximum efficacy. And so again, as small business owners or small business people who work for small businesses, our time is so precious. We're wearing a dozen hats on any given day. So we have to focus on the things that are the most efficient. And so please pay attention to these tips, because when you form your content around these tips, you're going to be creating things that are working for your brand, and your time is going to be better spent. All right. So number 1 is consistency. So the algorithms do favor consistency. You need to be sure to commit to posting 2 posts per week and 1 story per week. And actually, when I recommend this in training, it's freeing for a lot of people who take my training and who I coach, because they're never sure if it's okay to like post all the time, or like how much should I ideally be posting, and I don't have time for this. But once they know it's okay, a minimum of 2 posts per week and 1 story per week, then they have a plan that they can stick to. Now, if you want to post more than 2 posts per week, Instagram actually came out with a tip that's actually going to be possibly detrimental to your brand. They want quality over quantity. So if you have more things happening, post them up on your story. The story is a completely separate algorithm than your regular content posts in your regular feed. And it shows to different people at different times. It's way more forgiving. And it's meant for in the moment opportunities. So you can post on there once a day if you want, but 2 posts per week as regular content. Next, don't worry about over-designed, highly polished posts. So and another thing people always ask, well, I need my logo, I need to make sure my brand colors and my brand standards are on point, and I need to hire a photographer, all these things. And that is actually like, people are loving to see the raw, vulnerable, and human side of brands nowadays. They don't expect you to be super polished. They want to see the human side of your brand. And this is going to be the difference of them choosing you over a competitor who doesn't show the human side of their brand or doesn't have a good brand story like you. The best performing posts are video reels, high definition photos with happy people in action, and user generated content. So those 3 things, video reels, HD photos of happy people in action, and user generated content, you don't need graphic design for any of that. And especially like grabbing your phone and catching in the moment opportunities with happy people in action is going to go so much further. It's showing the human side of your brand. And don't be afraid to star in your own content. This is, so hard for everybody I meet. Like, nobody really wants to do it. I mean, we've got like some outgoing people, that personality, they love to do it, but try your best if you're not like very outgoing to star in your own content, because people love buying from people, and they love supporting you when they know, like, and trust you. And by including yourself in your content, you've all of a sudden put a human behind the brand that they know, like, and trust, and their decision is easy. They become loyal, and they're way less likely to choose your competitor that didn't show the human side. Also, talking about user-generated content, for anybody who's not familiar with that, there's a big opportunity here for brands like yours. And what user-generated content is when somebody who dealt with your brand or bought from you or enjoyed your tourist attraction posted about you without any incentive. You didn't ask them to do it. You didn't offer money. They're not an influencer. You didn't offer a prize. They just did it because they love you and they want to show what they're doing. And this is like the best thing a brand in the tourism sector can get, because you're getting all these people to essentially advertise for you on their own for free. And we know studies show that people pay attention to and are way more attracted to and are way more likely to act on the recommendations of friends and family before they will from a brand. So essentially, friends and family are pushing content about your brand out there to their friends and family, and that's influential, and they're likely to also want to experience that. So as a tourism brand, I would definitely push for that. I do get asked, like, well, how do you get it started? And the key thing is being direct and encouraging it, talking to your audiences on a human level and just saying, hey, we want to see your photos and videos of you experiencing this tourist attraction. We want you involved. Like, thank you for your business. All these things, talk about it all the time on social, and people will start to pick it up. And the cool thing about user-generated content is it has a snowball effect. The more other people see other followers and other customers posting about you, the more they want to do it as well, which is super awesome. And then you just it starts going exponential. Some of the brands we work for, they get like 2 or 3 pieces a day, and it's just like the best. Like, it's marketing gold. So try to get that. And then going back to video reels just for a minute, this is the highest form, the best type of marketing that you can put out there. Short form video, so also known as reels, has the highest return on investment of any social media marketing strategy. More than the HD photos of happy people in action, more of the photos of the owner, more than user-generated content. Reels are where it's at. And what it is videos spliced together to music, essentially, on Facebook and Instagram. Next, you want to master your social SEO. So sounds complicated, right? But it's not. You just want to be searchable with hashtags whenever you post on social. And even I was blown away when I learned this, that most Gen Z users on social media, most Gen Z users use Instagram as the #1 place to search for experiences. So think about that. They're not going to Google. These 20-somethings, they're now completely moved over to Instagram to search things. Now, that's not saying that Google's going away at all, ever. It is the king of all kings, but it does make us realize that there are huge opportunities and people finding us and optimizing our content. And the best way to do that is to include hashtags. So think of the things that people would be looking up to find tourist attractions or experiences or products like yours, and include those in your content. And if you're looking for ideas, you can always look them up on Instagram to see how many followers each of them have. Next, you want to build a community for your brand and be interested in your followers and other brands in your community. You want to give back by commenting and liking on their content also. So this is like a huge piece of what we do here at Wow Factor as well. It's not just creating awesome content that our audience wants to see, that's totally based on our goal, that has all the right hashtags, that's a great photo or a great reel. We also have to give back and talk to others and comment on others' photos and videos and immerse ourselves with other brands and other members of the community and our customers, and really genuinely give a care about what they're doing on social as well, by commenting and liking on their content also. Not only are people going to like notice you and appreciate this, But when they see that you've engaged on their content, they're likely to go back to your platforms and they're going to see more content. And so you're just building again that snowball effect of like getting people really interested in you. So it's like being a good neighbor. It's kind of like that quote. There's a quote in the book by Dale Carnegie of How to Win Friends and Influence People. The principle goes, you can earn more friends in 2 minutes by being interested in others than you can in 2 years by trying to make them interested in you. So be sure that you have that other component where you're constantly being interested in the community and other brands and other people and your customers on social as well. And next, you want to use it as a place for customer service and always engage with people who are reaching out for customer service by responding to comments and DMs. Now, people expect this nowadays. If they want to know more about your brand or what you have to offer, they're going to just send you a text via social media and they want a response. So be sure that you've got your platforms hooked up to your phone and that you're ready to take the lead in real time if possible. And just to unpack that a bit, people love to text. So we all have that friend who will pick up the phone to call them and they will not answer, but we'll text them and they'll give us an instant answer. And maybe like you're one of those people. I kind of am myself actually. And that's because our habits have changed. We all prefer text messaging versus phone calls or versus walking into a store. So people have come to expect instant communications from brands. So knowing that, and this is a cool little trick, using the send us a message call to action on your content. So send us a message to learn more about this experience, or send us a message to, if you have a question about this product, has been one of the most effective ways to earn a conversation and a conversion from a customer, because they feel so comfortable doing it. They're essentially texting your brand on social. It's easy for them. They go ahead and communicate. And the best part is it then creates like a two-way private conversation. You can really show your customer service skills. You can get them to know, trust, and like you. And then you can really be influential in that sense as well by using that send a message call to action. All right, so that is social media marketing, digital landscape right now in 2023 in a nutshell. Again, there's 5 key pieces. We went through establishing your goal, establishing your personas, your demographics and psychographics, your personas, establishing your best platforms to spend your effort on, and then the best ways to get your content out there in 2023. So if you don't have it yet, you will have that worksheet. This is being recorded. You can go through, and I really do encourage all of you to go through those steps. This is my second webinar of the exact same topic through tourism, and I've had awesome feedback from people who have taken the 15 minutes to do the worksheet, and it's already been super effective for their brand. So now that the presentation is over, I'll open it up to questions.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I know that okay. I know that our audience are really enjoyed your presentation on really how to make their brand visible on social media so that they can really capture their target audience. I do have a few questions. I remember I did post in the chat that Ashley is available to answer your questions. I do have a question for you, Ashley. And it says, any opinion on using hashtags in the description to replace words, or should they be kept at the end? Also, is there a suggested limit on how many hashtags you should use? So 3-part questions. The first part again, any opinions on using hashtags in the description to replace words?
Good question. So when you're, so best practices are a little bit different for Facebook and Instagram, but the key thing is to answer your question, no, you don't want to use them to replace words, but you want to be as concise as possible when you're when you're typing your words for your content. And I say your good copy should have just 3 key components in addition to your hashtag. So a hook, So like a headline, essentially getting people to kind of like stop their scroll. Value. So tell your audience what's in it for them as a result of seeing this content. And then a way to act. So what you want them to do as a result of seeing the post. And then after you've done that, so those 3 concise, and keep it concise because people are not going to read very much. After you've done that, add your hashtags. Now, rules on hashtags and limits, they vary across like different experts, but one thing that we've found effective is to always include a geo hashtag. So for example, like if you're from Regina, hashtag YQR, always include a niche hashtag. So if there's like a really specific hashtag that's pertinent to your industry, that's going to be super effective, your industry or your offering, like whatever product or service it is. So a super specific niche hashtag, and then a broad hashtag that you know your audiences are probably following. So like hashtag travel, super broad, right? So the combination of those 3 things are likely to get you in front of the right people, your niche audiences, your broader audiences, and then of course, anybody who's searching for something local. And I always recommend with hashtags, like if you're ever like, I don't even know what hashtags I should use, just go on Instagram and start searching like hashtag YQR activities or hashtag tourist attractions or whatever it is, and just start finding ones that you think are really relevant for your brand. And I just see there's, and I think that answers it all. Yeah, limit.
Yeah.
And
Can you give an example? I think you did, but if you have another example, can you give an example?
Yeah, so okay, so off the top of my head, if you're okay, so say okay, so say I'll just use like Mac the Moose as an example because I'm in Moose Jaw. So hashtag city MJ would be like your geo hashtag. Hashtag Mac the Moose would be like your super specific niche hashtag, or like yeah, like Moose Jaw attraction, that could be like another one. And then like your broad one would be like hashtag roadside attractions or hashtag places to see. Like there's lots of different ones that you could kind of use for broad, but the key thing to remember is like, think of your audience, what they might be looking for, what they might be interested in, and use that sort of a hashtag.
I think,
And then like if, sorry, go ahead.
I think this individual was asking, is there a suggested limit to how many hashtags you should use?
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. 3 to 5. You've probably seen like the Instagram posts that have like dozens and dozens of dozens and trying to like capture everything. And they say that what happens is the hashtag starts to like water down and they fight for relevancy. So you want to keep them like as relevant as possible. So 3 to 5 is probably like your sweet spot.
Okay. I think that's it for questions, Ashley. Let me just look at the questions again. But thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you so much for the presentation. Go ahead, Ashley.
I'm happy to be here. And if anybody thinks, like if you're like on your worksheet and you have any further questions, you can contact me. I have no problem with that. Ashley.Drummond@wowfactormedia.ca, and I'll do my best to help you out. But other than that, thanks everybody for your time, and I wish you all the best.
And thank you again on behalf of Tourism Saskatchewan.